Okay, so basically what it is when you come to the email deliverability is you need about 9 things. So one of them is keeping daily send extremely low for each email inbox. So let's say you have 10 inboxes. For each of these, you want to keep it to around 15 per inbox. Right? You don't want to go above 15. There's no point. Like if you go to 20 or 30, it starts to run into issues, especially if you go above 30. So you usually keep it around 15 and you'll be good for that one. Also, what we want to do is warm them up for 3 weeks. I'm sure you've heard of this. Instantly.ai as a feature. There's so many different tools out here now that does warming up. But essentially what it is, you have these gradual email sends it does that seems like a real person. So it would have like, a certain text saying, hey, my name is this and this. We do this and this, and it'll be a fake email to a bunch of different email inboxes. So the ESPs can think that you've actually, sent these emails and you've ramped it up in a natural way, and that'll prevent you from going to spam. Another one is number 2, 50-50 on Google and Microsoft. Basically, you want to get Google inboxes and Microsoft inboxes, and then only inbox Microsoft to Microsoft and Google to Google. It's pretty self-explanatory. And yeah, for number 3, you need to run deliverability tests frequently. So Instantly.ai has a spam filter, so you can actually check which inboxes are going to spam, which campaigns are going to spam, and it's pretty easy. There's a section. I can have another video on it. There's a section you go on. You click the campaign you want, and you can run an automated test, and then from there, it continuously tests out whether or not your emails are going to spam and uses multiple different email inboxes you've actually connected. And yeah, what I use personally, which is way easier than everything else you're going to find in cheap inboxes. Now, instead of you actually having to, go through, this SPF, KMD mark, doing it yourself, making sure you do it correctly, I just use cheap inboxes. It's basically like 50 VAs, and they set up all for you. So they literally have these guys. You tell them you want, 20 pre-warmed inboxes. They'll get it for you. They'll connect it to your Instantly account. They'll make sure it's warmed up correctly, and then you just send out the email campaigns, and it's very easy. And the actual pricing is pretty cheap for these guys, like $3.50 for Google inboxes, and I think slightly less for Microsoft. So yeah, if you're starting out, cheap inboxes, there's a few other ones, but I recommend them number 1. Number 5, use either proper syntax or AI personalization. Now, syntax it works, it does work. If you have different variables that are cleaned by AI, like company name, you make sure that there's some sort of normalization, which is basically making sure the company name, if it says, let's say Agro Acquisition Inc., you remove Inc. and it's just Agro Acquisition. Or if it's, if it says .co, .com, you just remove those kind of endings. And that's pretty much for syntax. For AI personalization, you have to make sure the copy is really good and the data fed is really good. If anything is wrong with the prompt you have or the data inputs you have, it's terrible. It's just, there's always going to be one that sounds awful, and most of them will sound really bad. So you have to make sure it's properly tested. And yeah, this is another one, very important one. This is in general about your campaign to reply to interested leads within 5 minutes. Now, if you actually reply, if you reply to someone, right? If you reply to someone in, let's say, 10 minutes, right? The amount of people who actually convert is 4x less than if you apply to them in 5 minutes. So what this means is if I show you in a graph, this is a graph, the number of leads you're getting from if you respond in 5 minutes is, let's say, 10 here. Now, if you wait just 5 minutes more, so if you, instead of responding in 5 minutes, you respond in 10 minutes, it's going to go down to here. So you're getting 2. That's going to make you sad. I don't want you to be sad. So make sure you're responding in 5 minutes. Extremely important. If you can do it, make it to 1 minute instead. This will make you go from 10. Let's say you contact 50 people. This is not realistic. You usually won't get 10 people responding, but let's just say you contact 50 people. Rather than getting 10 responses, if you respond in 1 minute, this can go up to 15. And that's just that's just a 4 minute difference. So responding quickly, very important. Another thing, keep emails ultra simple. Make sure that the text only on your emails is set to true, and there's no additional links or there's no additional design. That's not for cold email. That's for when you have email lists that people have opted in. But when you do cold email, you don't want to do that. Number 8, rotate domains and inboxes. So yeah, in general, you don't want to use the same domain for more than a month or 2. It usually burns after that, especially if you're sending consistently every single day for 15 a day for each inbox. You can usually get away with using a given domain for 2 to 3 months. And for each domain, you only want a maximum of 3 inboxes. So you don't want to go more than 3 inboxes. I recommend 2. And finally, number 9, keep lists extremely clean. So all this means is you want to actually do a few things. Let me wipe this up again. Let's say you have a lead list of 10,000 people. All right, you've got 10,000 people. What you want to do is you want to clean this 10,000. So a lot of these big databases, their emails are going to be fried. Like when I mean fried, they're going to be not verified. So when you send out to them, most likely they're going to bounce back and most likely they're going to go to spam, which is really bad for your deliverability. So you want to run this through email verification software. Now you can do either Reoon Verifier, or you can do what I use is Reoon. It's pretty good. Or you can actually have something which finds the emails and verifies it for you, depending on if you have just the name, the last name, and the company website. Something like Find Email. It's pretty good. With this one, you don't actually have to verify them afterwards. I made the mistake, first of all, verifying these guys, but they do it for you. They have some crazy algorithms. And that's it. So if you guys want to know more, if you want any questions, just go on and book a call with me. I can go through the exact stages just so you don't make sure you don't mess up anything. And yeah, cheers.